It's great to see everybody joining us today for the big meetup. Thank you, Manfred, for the organization. So today, I'm going to ask you one question. What did change recently for you when working during your workflow? What did you say? AI. AI, yes, two letters. AI. That's something that happened without us seeing it happening initially, and now it's everywhere. Everyone wants to do it, everyone wants to sell it, and I want to talk a little bit about it today. So, I want to talk to you how the usage of AI will impact us builders of frameworks, of libraries, and this is why I want to talk about building Angular at the age of AI. So hello, I'm Rainer Hannekamp, and this is Engine News with the latest update of the Angular community. Almost. He can do it better than I do. So yeah, like Manfred introduced me, I'm Matthieu Riegler. I come from France, but I have a German name. Software engineer, you often see me coding everywhere, somewhere in the train. I'm part of the Angular team for over 2 years now, and started this year working directly for Google as a contractor. You can find me on any famous social network. I have a website where I blog a little bit about Angular and about tech a little bit. So yeah, this is it for me. So I want to take a short view back to the past. Let's go back to very far, 2022. Who remember what happened 3 years ago? It's not that far, but feels already very far today. Yeah, a corona, sorry. Yeah, OpenAI introduced ChatGPT. It was like, it felt like magic when it happened. So it happened out of nowhere almost, and we had that fun chat. You can ask questions, get answers. What very funny. And who would have guessed back then, 3 years ago, that it would impact us so much today? So we entered with it in the age of Gen AI. So OpenGPT launched really the movement for generative AI that we dub today more Gen AI. It opened a lot of possibilities for us developers to help us, to make us more efficient, to hear also a lot of, I don't know, things on social networks. Yeah, it's good, it's bad, I don't know. So yeah, new possibilities. And we've seen a lot of tools built on top of LLMs, tools that you started at least probably trying, using maybe professionally, helping you already a lot today, like GitHub's Copilot with the integration into VS Code, for example, Google's Gemini. You've seen probably tools like Gemini, CLI, which helps you without an LLM, an IDE develop. Cloud and Cloud Code, Cursor, Windsurf, so different IDEs. JetBrains also has AI integrations. You see, so today it's almost everywhere. Everyone wants to do it. And it impacts us a lot on how developers start to use framework and libraries. Their strength is actually also, when you think about it, a bit like it's also their weakness. When I say that, it's because they are very good at repeating what they already know. So you ask him something that he already learned, he's very good at giving you the right answer. But the issue is what happens when they don't know the answer you're asking them. And often you get something, it's either bullshit, something, a lie, or it just gives answers to you with such a confidence, you say, okay, you must be right. Doesn't work really that way. So the issue we see as for us builders of libraries, of framework, is that because we ship regularly new features, how can we tell this to AI agent? How can we try to transfer the knowledge to say, hey, it's good what you produced in the past, but today we have new features, something that is more suited to some usages that we have today. How can we tell them, hey, I don't want the old code, I want the new one with the new features? And you can't wait for the model to be reteached in 6 months. You want the answer when the features are released. So this is really reshaping how we need to think about how we build things, tools for you. So basically what we need to do, us as builders, and we need to extensively provide examples. So when we ship new features, it's important that we show you directly, but also for the tools to learn extensive examples. Also, we noticed that documentation is very important in a sense that it needs to be structured, it needs to be accessible, it needs to be readable for the tools on top of for you too. And also things like you've seen maybe files like the llm.txt, which is supposed to summarize documentations, give entry point, things that LLM need to follow to learn new patterns, new examples, new APIs. Is it really worth it? We are not 100% sure today, but at least we're trying to follow the trends and saying, okay, we need to look at what's really necessary for the LLMs to suggest what you actually expect them to produce for you. Because that's important. You want them to produce the best answer possible. And let's assume we have everything set up on our side to help them give you the best output. We also notice one thing is that context is really what matters to them. Giving them the context on where you're working, because imagine the LLM has a lot of knowledge, but your project might be a bit outdated and you want the project to actually use the best output for the version you're using to. So the context is really important here. And the first thing we wanted to ship with the projects is something that we call the best practices. The best practices is a set of rules that we give you in a file and that are read by LLMs, by agents, to give the best output possible. By giving these kind of files, we noticed while evaluating different agents that it improves a lot the quality of the results of the AI agent. So this file that you see here is available on Riegler.dev, on the AI page, and also it is in the latest update that we shipped, something that you can add when using the CLI. When I'm saying it's on Angular.dev, the file itself, you have guidelines to add it to your project and also have it as a text file that you can copy and add it yourself. So the CLI is adding it. We have a bunch of new commands that does it automatically for you. Every time now that you do an ng-new to create a new app, it will prompt you to which AI agent you would like to get the best practices to be set up. You can also do it on an existing project. We ng generate AI config. This one will also prompt you, and if you don't want any prompts, you can give the tool directly. And the tool that we support today, Gemini, Copilot, Windsurf, Cursor, JetBrains, and I'm forgetting one, Cloud. So basically, this is the first best solution for you to get the best output of the AI agent. Another point I want to talk about, and this one is very, I want to say, a bit humbling and also kind of funny. Who here who has used AI has seen what we call AI hallucination? So, yeah, probably almost everybody. You've seen the AI giving you an answer and say, yes, that's what you want. It's so affirmative and say, it looks so confident, has to be true. And then you run the project and you see what? Compilation error. And okay, so we have to acknowledge that sometimes AI just initially they think a bit like us. So if something works somewhere, it should work elsewhere. So it led us to rethink a bit some of our features. And that's how AI also impacts us directly today. So we need to rethink how a feature works or how AI and users, in the end, expect them to work. I'll give you a few examples. In the latest minor, we shipped something that is really minor, I would say. Now, in the else-if block, you can finally use an alias. Initially, we were not really sure we wanted to ship it. So what we did what was supported initially with the NGF is only an alias on the AGF itself. And we noticed that a lot of feedback from the community said, hey, if we have it on an if, why don't we have it on the else if? And we're like, well, we're not sure we're needing it. We want to keep it as simple as possible. And we gave you also the atlet, so the template variable declaration. Everything should be enough. And we noticed that actually there are some use cases where it wasn't enough. And also that users were asking for it, and LLM were like suggesting, hey, if it works on the if, why doesn't it on the else if? So we're like, okay, makes sense. Actually, just ship it. So one of the evaluation we did. Second one, you probably expected that everything you write in the template that is not an Angular instruction, when I say instruction, an add block or thing like this, is like regular HTML that you can write. And we noticed that people were not very fond of using the HTML entities. If you remember, it's like an and, com at, and a semicolon that you needed to use if you wanted to show an at in your template. And LLMs were like you saying, okay, it's supposed to be like an HTML, why can't I use the at? And we're like, initially, we really wanted to only use the at for all the custom instructions. When I say custom instructions, all the different blocks, we use it initially for at if, for, and switch. Then we introduced the defer block, then we introduced the atlet, etc. So we were like, okay, at is private for us to use. And in the end, we're seeing people saying, okay, we prefer to have it as a regular letter. If it's alone, you should be able to infer that it's an at and not an instruction. LLM were thinking the same, so okay, let's ship it. Also, something that's, this one gave us a very positive feedback. I posted it on Reddit, and the most voted answers were all finally, finally, finally. So when you see something like this, you have an input, and you want it to reach for the values input. What you often did, that's the event, you read for the target, and the target is typed in a way that, well, it doesn't have value. So you don't want really happy, you were using probably the any or passing the target directly, using some type assertions, etc., etc., etc. It makes total sense when you think about type safety. Target can be anything else than just the input you were adding the input for. Yeah. So what we noticed is that we could slightly improve that. The input is what we call a void element. A void element in HTML is an element that doesn't have any children. So we know that the input event that's fired here is not something that is bubbling up. There is always the element it's on it. So we can actually trick the compiler saying, okay, here it's not what TypeScript is telling you, it is actually the input itself. And now you know that it's the input, you know that the value is accessible, and well, we ship that too. And also another one that's more like suggested by how the LLMs work. There's one technology that LLMs love to give you. It's one that some of us really hate. It's Tailwind. Tailwind loves crazy class names like this one, where you have bizarre characters like a slash in the class name. And this wasn't supported by Angular, and we noticed while evaluating LLMs that it would actually be good that we could add the support because it doesn't break anything. It's just a bit of work for us and makes everyone happy. So we also ship it. So you see with these 4 examples how working with AI, evaluating the results of different agents, it led us to rethink a bit how we build frameworks, like making you happy, making LLMs happy, making everyone happy without breaking anything. So we give more context to provide knowledge. To continue, I want to talk something about something that's really new, that is what we dub MCP, which is the Model Context Protocol. Is how you can provide more information to agents from custom sources. So what the tooling team did, the tooling team is the team that's working on the Angular CLI specifically, is they started building an NCP inside the Angular CLI. So the LCP will be able to provide you what we call what the protocol calls tools, and it's actually custom rules, some custom information, additional information that you can feed. You can feed the agent to. So yeah, the Angular MCP is already shipping several tools. It has access to the best practices I showed you before. It's able to search the doc. You can ask it to search the doc and give you some information without having to read to angular.dev. And we're exploring some interesting ideas, saying, okay, we know that you need help to modernize your app. And AI are actually good at it if you gave them the right guidance to help you modernize your app. And things like also, there's something that's, I think, really interesting in the very near future is how could we leverage LLMs, AI agents, to help you migrate to zoneless. So you might have heard about this, but we promoted zoneless to stable in v20.2, and we aim to make it the default in Angular apps in the next major version. So it would be interesting to see, hey, can we leverage AI to help you go towards zoneless if you'd like to? And just to illustrate just the example I gave before, this is my chat on VS Code. I asked Gemini with the MCP enabled, hey, can you give me some information about linked signals from the docs? You can see it reach out to the tool in the MCP and gives you some information. The other one is the Modernize tool, which is still very experimental today, and we can give it some guidance to help you modernize your tool. And here it says, hey, I know how I can help. We have a set of migrations that I could run for you, and it will migrate safely your app without breaking anything. So this is two ways our MCP could help you and us, help you improve your experience while developing. Another news that happened very recently, so the Angular team has been collaborating with the Gemini team to finally being able to build and run Angular apps inside the Gemini canvas. That wasn't possible before, and probably some of you tried, hey, create me an Angular app. Initially, when Gemini shipped, have you tried this? Have you seen what sometimes happens? The first time I tried it, I got a React app. I explicitly asked for, I want an Angular Sudoku. I say, hey, yeah, there it is. It's JSX, it's React. That's only what it could do back then because it learned from all the code bases. And then the Gemini team and the Angular team worked together to actually being able to ship LLMs that supports Angular apps and that also run Angular apps directly in the browser without much complexity. This was actually a bit hard in the sense that Angular has a more complex toolchain and needed some adaptation to be able to work here in the browser. And there is one other thing I want to mention today is that it's in more than 1 week. We are doing an AI developer event on YouTube. It's led by your favorite DevRel, Mark Thompson, who will be demoing a lot of features, giving you a lot of updates, and telling you more about things I can't tell you today, unfortunately, about the work the team has been doing around AI and how this could help you develop more and more your applications. So all I want to tell you today is that you don't have to use AI. Some of you might not like it. Some of you might not want to pay for it. I don't know. But the way I see it is that it enables possibilities to those who want to try to use it and also benefits. Who can, what's the word in English? Benefit, thank you, benefit from it. So it's all about the new possibilities and labels. Up to you to test it if you want. And yeah, that's it for me today. Thank you so much. You will find the slides